Alright. Hello everybody, welcome to another Cooking with Denoy episode. I originally wasn't going to film this because I'm still dealing with the situation with the knife gig and trying to claim my money. But figured, you know what, you guys enjoy my cooking, even though this isn't really much of a dish. I thought I would go ahead and share with you what I'm trying to cook up to eat. Essentially, I'm going to call this pan-fried spaghetti with hamburger meat. So all I'm doing is right now is frying up this beef burgers that I bought from Aldi. By the way, they sell these like about $2 less than Walmart. $2 or $3 less per packet. So Aldi's seems to be a really good deal for the beef burgers. So I put 2 of them in there and I'm just frying it up. And then what I'll do is slice it up into little chunks in there. And then the plan is just to go ahead and toss in water. This is something new I'm trying. So, I may even drain the fat. We'll look and see how much fat there is. If there's a lot of fat, I think I'll go ahead and drain that. And we'll toss in some water. And then after that, we'll toss in the spaghetti and let that cook up and let the water evaporate. And then toss in the traditional sauce. At least that's the plan. So, we'll see how it turns out. Alright, I've flipped over the hamburger meat, turned the heat back up to high, and you can see there's quite a bit of fat here. I'm going to try to drain off here in a minute. I think I'll go ahead and drain off the fat, that way I'm not just eating fat. Although eating fat, you know, when you're low on food may actually be useful. Right now I'm just trying to cook things really simple using a lot of stuff like spaghetti, rice, which you can see I'm out of, and I do have a bigger bag that I bought. Been buying larger bags since I'm not on the road for now, unless I go camping or something. I'll do a little day trip. But been trying to eat a lot of starch, which is not that good for you to have too much of it, but it is cheap, you know, lo mein, spaghetti, and rice. That's going to be my staple. And lots of eggs, because that's cheap protein. And these hamburger patties aren't too bad. Let me go ahead and break up the pieces. As you can see, I've broken using the spatula here. I guess that's what this is called. Is that a spatula? What is that called? Anyhow, I use that to break up the meat. Turn the heat down a little bit, but I'm going to turn it back up again. And make sure that the meat is fully cooked is what I've done. I haven't really added any seasoning at all. Plan with this meal is actually not to add much because I'll let the flavor of the sauce here, the Hunt sauce. I think this was like $1 from Walmart for this big thing. So this meal is probably going to cost me about, I'm going to guess about $2. No, well, this is also $1, so that's $2 right there. So about $2.50, $3. But I'm planning on having leftovers so I can save it for a couple meals. Let me go ahead and get rid of the grease there. So I drained the grease off the meat, and it is pretty much brown. Now at this point, I'm just going to add some water in there, and then let that boil up. Well, I'm also going to throw in the spaghetti itself and let that boil. I'm not planning on draining it, so I'm just going to let the spaghetti boil with the water in it, and then it'll absorb the water. I know some of you say I should dump out the water and stuff so that the spaghetti won't, you know, will get rid of all the extra starch, but I think I want it. I actually want the starch in there. So let's try that and see what happens. Here you can see I've added the water. I'm not exactly sure how much water I used, but I'm going to guess about 3 cups. Essentially, I'm taking the formula or the recipe from how they make the hamburger helper. You know, they cook the hamburger meat, they drain it, then they add the water and the noodles, and they cover it. And let the, and they also add the seasoning, the sauce, and then they let it kind of evaporate. What I'm going to do, though, is a little bit different. I'm going to put the noodles in here and let that cook up. Then I'm debating whether or not I'm going to actually drain the water. I'm thinking the water will be absorbed, but if not, I may drain it. Then I'll be adding this Hunt's spaghetti sauce. That's the plan. As you can see, the spaghetti is a little too long to fit in there, so I need to break it up. I'll be breaking it in half and then putting it in there. I'm debating if I'm going to use the whole box or just half a box. We'll put it in and see how much it looks, you know, how much it fills up before I make a decision if I'm going to cook the whole box or not. Alright, that was one handful of spaghetti, so we're going to go ahead and add another handful. I think we may be able to use the whole box. Let's go ahead and add some more. Alright, as you can see, if we can get the camera to focus here. Come on, camera. Alright, as you can see, I've added this whole box of great value spaghetti. It is 16 ounces that I threw in there. And we're just going to let it boil up a little. And you know what? I just realized I have some tomatoes I can throw in here. So what I'm going to do to make sure the tomato cooks, I'm going to go ahead and toss the tomato in there while it's cooking. Alright, I was able to find 3 ripe tomatoes that I'm just going to toss in there. Yep. You know what? Maybe put in a 4th one. Let me get one more tomato and add that. There we go. 4 ripe tomatoes. Doesn't that look weird? Yep. Another weird concoction. Looks like the water is actually evaporated. It's being absorbed. So you know what? I'm thinking at this time it's good enough that I can start adding the tomato sauce. Let's do that. Since we added tomato, let's add the tomato sauce. So I've removed the top. And how much sauce will I add? Why, the whole can, of course. Don't have to worry about leftovers, you know. And yes, this is like starting to get really weird, but truly I think it is just regular spaghetti, guys. Although, I don't know if anyone ever made it like this, but, you know, just thought I would go ahead and try. You know, interestingly, these spaghetti noodles, I thought they would be thicker, but they look like ultra thin, even though the box, it didn't say thin noodles. So, I don't know what's up. The spaghetti looks like it still needs to cook some more. Wow, I'm dripping. The sauce is dripping and making a mess. So, let me stir that up. I'm going to get a fork and stir everything up and see if we can't make it look prettier than it looks right now, because this is starting to look pretty ugly. Alright, I've turned the heat down to medium at this point, and I'm just going to cover it and just let it cook. I guess this is the simmer stage, right? So we're just going to let simmer for, I don't know, let's just make up a number. Maybe, let's let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes and come check on it and see what it looks like. Alright, it's been about, what, 4 minutes? 3 minutes? No. Was it 35, 34? I don't know. What we're going to do is just stir things up a little bit. You know, try to get the noodles to all soak up, although I can see it's starting to burn. So I really do need to stir. So let me stop filming here. And I'll use a spatula or whatever this thing's called to stir it all up. Alright, I've stirred it all up. I'm looking at it and it looks like it's pretty much done. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and do a serving. Let's see what it looks like, it tastes like. So the first thing I'm going to do, maybe we'll call this tomato surprise. Wow, the skin came off. Look at that, no skin left on there. I'll take a tomato, put it right there with the skin right there on the plate. And we're just going to get some of the spaghetti and serve it up and see what it looks and tastes like. Alright. Here then is my crazy concoction. Pan-fried spaghetti with tomato surprise. With some grated Parmesan cheese here. And of course, to bring out the flavor, once again, crushed red peppers. Which I need to get more of. And overall, I would say it looks a lot like spaghetti, doesn't it? Let's see if it tastes like spaghetti. Okay, get a chunk of meat with it. Maybe I'll take a little bit of this. Get some of that tomato. Tomato's soft. It's like melty. Here we go. Mmm. Mmm. Sure enough, tastes like spaghetti. I might throw in a little bit of salt. Otherwise, pretty much spaghetti. Until next time, everybody, I hope you're eating well, staying safe. Thank you for tuning in.